For anybody that doesn't know, the Judicial Committee, the House Judicial Committee, had a field meeting today, meaning they left the actual House to do a hearing. They're usually they go down to the border or somewhere to discuss with some of the constituents about the current problem. And right now, they're actually in Manhattan in the DA's office there, and they are discussing with a lot of the constituents of Manhattan about the crime problem, about the fact that DA Bragg refuses to prosecute most people over felonies, murders, and all kinds of carjackings and things of that nature. They don't want to prosecute them there for some reason. It's that Soros money, of course. But at any rate, I just more than anything wanted to let y'all know that Jim Jordan is speaking this morning. Some of the victims of crime are speaking this morning. Jerry Nadler is lying and saying the crime ain't so bad in New York. Not that he spends any time there. And we got several other constituents and politicians over there just speaking their mind. Now, Mayor Mayor Eric Adams and D.A. Bragg and Jerry Nadler and even Adam Schiff all believe this is just a political witch hunt trying to find a victim for a crime at this point. This is all about Trump somehow. This is about obfuscating from something else. This has nothing to do with the victims of crimes due to the fact that the district attorney is not doing his job. That's why they're there. That's what's going on. This is about bringing exposure. This is about showing the contrast of what D.A. Bragg is actually all about. And the left hates it this morning. They're crying some serious salty tears today, throwing a fit and saying, y'all are just here to obfuscate the Trump situation. No, we need everybody to know that if you're going to try to prosecute somebody for an alleged crime in your city, you need to go after the people in your city that actually have crimes uh, being or actually perpetrating crimes. And that is the event horizon of this whole situation. It's coming to a head that everybody is now starting to see that DA Bragg is useless as far as a DA, except for one thing, and that is just trying to go after Trump. And not that he's any good at that. Everybody said at this point he is not a very smart man, considering the way he has handled this particular case. And over time, we will probably find out even more about it. But the purpose of this video this morning was just to let y'all know that Town Hall, Newsmax, right here on the Gateway Pundit, on a link in the description down below, I'll leave you. All have video footage of this live feed going on today, and over on Facebook, it's on several different platforms or sites over there as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into it and see where they're at. But like I said, you will be able to get the full feed if you want to by the end of the day once they get to a stopping point. But I think it's just very interesting to see the contrast of people that are speaking out about the fact that their kids uh, can get no justice because the criminals in that city have done them and their family wrong. But at the same time, they're doing an absolute push to go after Trump. It just seems, and the hypocrisy is air apparent, and it's just a slap in the face to the people that live in that area that know that this is just a political witch hunt. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you this, and just to let y'all know, if you want to watch the whole thing, it's out there live streaming as we speak right now. Now let's go ahead and get into what they're talking about at the moment.
Dollars. And Ms. Brame, you talked about the lack of services that you received. And so we inquired about how many taxpayer dollars go to New York City and to Alvin Bragg's office. The DA's office receives $204,730 in federal grant money during the current award period from the Department of Justice's Justice Assistance Grant Program, which is subgranted to the City of New York, goes toward addressing violent and other felony crimes in our jurisdiction. More interestingly, and more to your point, the DA's office received $583,111 in federal grant money yearly this past year from the Victims of Crime Victim and Witness Assistance Grant Program, which is subgranted through the New York State Office of Victim Services. Use of these funds is to be used to provide information to victims and their families related to the prosecution of cases and assisting victims with understanding the criminal justice system. Over $500,000 sitting in Alvin Bragg's office to help people like you. Do you feel like you got help from Alvin Bragg as the case was going forward?
No, I received no help from his office. Me and my family, we were treated like garbage. I can't describe it any more than, what I have already. It was the most horrific experience that I've ever experienced.
And it's fair to say that law enforcement strongly opposed Bragg's Day One memo and failed bail reform policies in Albany.
100%.
Mr. DiGiacomo, in fact, you have said, quote, Bragg gives criminals the roadmap to freedom from prosecution and control of our streets. In Bragg's Manhattan, you can arrest, deal drugs, obstruct arrest, and even carry a gun to get away with it. Can you please expound about why law enforcement opposes Alvin Bragg's Day One policy and opposes failed bail reform?
Well, because, again, every time a detective or a police officer puts himself or herself in harm's way, arresting a felon or anyone for any crime, they're released immediately with no consequences.
Mr. Borgen, as a family member of a victim of a heinous violent crime, your son, as you talked about, was a victim of a violent anti-Semitic hate crime committed at a pro-Israel event. Your son was jumped, beaten, and sprayed with mace. In fact, and I think it's important for the American people and my colleagues across the aisle to hear this, your son describes this as a whole crowd of people proceeded to kick me, punch me, beat me down. I felt a liquid being poured on my face, and at first I thought I was getting urinated on, but it turned out I was getting maced and pepper sprayed. My face was on fire. That pain was worse than the concussion and all this other stuff that followed. And yet the attacker said, if I could do it again, I would do it again. And yet, District Attorney Alvin Bragg gave him a sweetheart deal. What is your message to District Attorney Alvin Bragg?
Well,
listen to this, folks.
Obviously, in the big scheme of things, but unfortunately, our hands are tied. He can come to us. He offered him other deals. My son did not accept it. Right now, the court case is pending, and different deals are passing on from back and forth. But between me and you, I lost faith in the justice system with Alvin Bragg. I don't feel anything's going to get done. Like in the other cases also, her son's attackers walking around scot-free like nothing happened. It's a disgrace. And I just want to say something, Mr. Ivey, I compliment you. You're the only one who sat here on the Democratic side, didn't bring up Donald Trump. And you're a mensch. You talk straight. You didn't look to make partisan politics here. I want to compliment you.
And this thing goes on for actually hours today, folks. So you're welcome to go check it out. Go watch the rest of it. I'll leave you a link in the description below to this actual feed right here. But like I said, it's on Town Hall and several other places. Something else I wanted to say before I got off of here. Over the last couple of weeks, the House Judiciary Committee has been doing a lot of what they call field hearings, where they go to like the border and like they went to New York today, and they went to the border in Arizona and in Texas at different times. And they try to show up and have hearings where the actual problem is, so they can get constituents to um, be able to voice their opinion as well. And what I see is going on. If you don't know, C-SPAN is the one that has the contract to have all the House and Senate hearings videotaped live inside the chambers. And over the last couple of weeks, C-SPAN, which is government-run TV, just like PBS, so expect no less. C-SPAN, all the time I've been watching C-SPAN and Ford, which gets their information from C-SPAN, gets their footage from C-SPAN. They tend to watch and film all the hearings. Well, over the last couple of weeks, like I said, the C-SPAN organization has decided that they cannot afford to go down to Yuma, Arizona, or to South Texas to the border, and they definitely can't show up here in New York because they don't have the funds to bring a camera guy up there to sit in these hearings in order for the American public to actually see what is going on. So at this point, it looks like C-SPAN is actually choosing what and what not to present to the public with their video footage contract. And I'm just glad to see that now that C-SPAN is going woke with their censorship crap, trying to prevent the American public from, I guess, seeing what's going on at the border, what's going on in Manhattan, and what's going on all over the world, as far as I'm concerned, involving just bringing the truth out. I'm glad to see Newsmax is actually covering this, and so with several other sites. So if C-SPAN decided they don't want to cover Senate hearings, we got to find a way to get somebody to cover these hearings extensively, just to make sure that the information is not lost or suppressed. That's all I got for you, folks. Like I said, go check out these live feed today. You're welcome to. It's all over the place.